Hello and welcome back to Transformation Tuesday. We're up to episode 41. Welcome. Tonight we're talking about how to increase your motivation. How do you get moving? How do you get inspired? How do you get into action? How do you get enthusiastic about what you're looking to create in your life? I'm excited to share with you some of the hacks, the tools, the principles of consciousness, the advanced emotional mastery techniques that I use personally, as well as the ones that I share with my clients, how to help you elevate your level of motivation, your inspiration, and the internal drives that you have to want to create and move forward and take action in your life. So if you can relate to wanting to be more motivated, wanting to have more get up and go, wanting to take more action, wanting to be more intuitive, wanting to make faster decisions, and wanting to have that ability to accelerate faster through life, then you're going to love tonight's episode, because I get to share some nuggets of gold with you that are really going to help you tap into a deeper level of motivation. Hey Katrina, good to see you here. While we're waiting for a few of you guys to jump on, let us know how your week's been. I love to know what's happening in your world, where you're tuning in from. We're going to be going pretty deep into some more advanced unconscious elements of what creates motivation tonight. And I'm going to be sharing with you the four major pillars of motivation. How do we tap into it? How do we activate a deeper level of motivation? What are some practical tools we can use? And how do we start to turn motivation into a daily practice? How do we turn it into a discipline so that it's something that we can create more predictably, as opposed to something that just randomly pops into your awareness or you randomly feel one day? Thanks, Kazi. I've just had a haircut. Thought I'd upgrade my look. Hey, Katrina, good to see you here. And this is something that's really, this topic is incredibly powerful, because when we're accessing motivation, we get access to, I describe it as like if you're supercharging a car. When you tap into your motivation, then it's like you've got a performance chip in your car. You get access to a greater horsepower. You can accelerate faster. It's also the equivalent of also upgrading the ability for your car's steering, your handling, your suspension. You've got the ability to ride through life in a far more swift, energetic, and enthusiastic, thrilling manner. So I'm going to share with you the four major pillars of upgrading motivation. So here we go. Let's go straight into it. And at the end of tonight's episode, I've got some really special news to announce, which is I'm launching a really powerful inner circle, which is an opportunity for people that want to get access to working with me in a very private, exclusive mentoring group, where I get to share all the best of the best hacks, all the best tools of consciousness that I have. There's an opportunity for you guys to have an experience of me holding your hand and walking you through all of these concepts that I've been sharing with you on Transformation Tuesday at a far deeper level. So if you're interested in hearing about that, then stay tuned for the end of the episode, when I'll be releasing a little bit of info about that. So let's dive in. Let's give you guys the gold. The first major pillar, which ties into this whole conversation beautifully, and I've spoken about this in previous episodes, is purpose and vision. Purpose and vision. Now, these concepts are so very closely related. Our purpose is one of these core pillars, and our vision is another core pillar, that come together in an incredibly powerful combination that give us a sense of drive and determination that it just goes beyond the physical. This is the spiritual needs of a human being, is our purpose and a vision for who we're striving to become. So these are core concepts really that fit behind motivation. And I'm also going to use the word inspiration a lot. I like to use the words motivation, inspiration kind of interchangeably. Now, I know there's a lot of people that don't necessarily agree. Hey Fatima, good to see you here. There's a lot of people here that disagree with the distinctions around what is motivation, what is inspiration. I'm going to lump them together for the purposes of this conversation tonight, meaning a desire, a force, a reason for wanting to take action, a sense of enthusiasm, the driving force, internal driving force inside of us, propelling us forward. So yes, if you go Googling what's the difference between motivation and inspiration, you will go down multiple rabbit holes on different distinctions. To keep it simple for tonight, we're just lumping them together and saying the driving force to create, to move, to be motivated, to have a motive, to be forward moving. So if you're wanting to get moving quicker, with more authenticity, with more force, with more firepower, this is the topic that's going to help you. So the first major pillar here of the elements that come together that activate our sense of motivation, inspiration. I'm just going to go through the 4 generally, and then we're going to go into them in a bit of detail. So the first one is purpose and vision. The second major pillar is our values, our core values, which are unconscious filters, and I'll touch on that in a bit more. The third one is we've got to override our fears and our limitations. And the fourth one, which is my biggest recommendation, is by getting a coach or a mentor or someone to hold us accountable, is one of the biggest elements of motivation that exists. So I'm going to be diving into each of these 4 pillars and unpacking the strategies and the tools for each of these. So the first one is vision and purpose. Vision and purpose is so critical, because if you haven't tapped into your purpose, your reason for being, the reason why you wake up every day, the reason to get you through the tough times, the dark times, the challenges, the speed humps, then there is very little drive. There's no sense of why are we even bothering? So your purpose is your reason for being. It's your why. And for those that haven't already checked out my previous episode on discovering your purpose, I recommend going back and watching that or listening to that episode, because it's going to give you a lot of concepts and a lot of powerful distinctions in around how to tap into that. Once you've tapped into your purpose, you also get access to a grander vision. Now, the vision is the aspect of yourself that you see in your future. Your vision is a future projection for you, who you are striving to be, the ideal version of self, who you're wanting to evolve into. So vision is the concept of self that is your ideal self. I don't want to use the word perfect, because perfection comes with it a whole lot of judgments, but it's the most ideal version that you can possibly conceive of self, and having that, or setting that as a benchmark of something to strive for. Now, to make this really tangible, what I recommend you do is, if you haven't already gone back and looked and checked out the episode around vision, how to define your vision for your future, I recommend checking that episode as well. But fundamentally, well, what is vision and what is purpose? Well, it's getting really, really clear on what is the future scenario that we wanted to create in our life, but then bringing it back to now, how does that apply to us in the moment? How do we take a future concept and use that to evoke an emotion, such as motivation or inspiration or drive right now? Because some people make the mistake of creating a really inspiring vision, which is great, and they do a lot of visualizations and they do some goal setting. But what they can do is they can do overwhelm, and they can do, how the hell am I going to do that? And so you've got to be very, very careful with when you are future designing your life. You've now got to be aware of fears, the limiting beliefs, the limitations, all of the mindset, head chatter, the limiting beliefs and the internal dialogue that can get generated. So when you are future predicting your life, when you are visioning your life, your ideal version of you, what's going to come up is the limitations. You are going to get limiting beliefs. You're going to get obstacles. You are going to get some challenges that are going to appear. And if the bigger the life that you're striving to create, the more in an inspiring version of self you're looking to evolve into, the more limitation you're going to observe. Those challenges are going to become even more present. So what's required in this whole journey is courage. It's the courage to set a vision for yourself and to set a purpose for yourself that some might call it bold, audacious. I call it tapping into infinite possibility. When you tap into that vision and that purpose of self, that is what's going to drive the motivation. That is what's going to give you that sense of in the moment, propelling you forward. That feeling, that emotion. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Motivation is a feeling. It's energy in motion. It is an internal state of being that will drive you beyond your limitations. So the strength of your motivation, the depth of the intensity of that feeling, that emotion you're feeling, that's your fuel. That is your rocket fuel that's propelling you forward. And the bigger your purpose, the greater clarity you have around who is this person you're striving to become, i.e. your vision, the person who you want to evolve into, the more firepower, the more enthusiasm and energy you're going to generate. And this is the thing about, and one of the myths about motivation and inspiration is, a lot of people think that it's just luck that they create motivation or inspiration. It's not luck at all. It's a combined experience of creating goals, creating visions for our future, reflecting on our purpose, creating possibilities for ourselves, overcoming the fears and limitations, getting creative with our future, having amazing conversations with beautiful, inspiring people,
reading, listening to motivational audios, doing personal development, turning up to conversations like this, there is a tapestry of an infinite number of ingredients that go into this thing that's called motivation. So it's not a random thing that just turns up one day. It is generated. You are generating it, kind of like a power plant generates electricity. You are generating motivation. And you just need to become aware of the strategy and the tools that are required to generate it more consistently. And the more consistently you experience motivation, which is a feeling, the more energy and enthusiasm you will generate, which means you can now move forward faster, with more focus, with more discipline. And so this is a really powerful concept. Is a lot of people just think, oh, I'm not motivated today. I can't be bothered. I'm just not motivated. You have to generate the motivation. You have to activate the switch. And I can share with you some powerful tools and techniques of how to generate that motivation. It's a combination of psychological factors, physiological factors, diet, nutrition, hydration, exercise, mindset. So there's a lot of different factors that go into this. I'm going to keep it to the 4 major pillars tonight, but there's a whole science to motivation. I could do a 7-day training just on motivation alone. So I'm just giving you a soundbite here. But that core pillar of vision and purpose, if you haven't already tapped into unlocking such an inspiring, motivating purpose, your reason for being in your day-to-day life, as well as in your work, as well as in your relationship, then you're going to be missing that performance chip in your engine to floor it down the freeway to truly accelerate. So really the things that you want to add to that are going to be things like goals, creating goals for your life, creating things that are so inspiring when you picture them right now. So in fact, I recommend do this experiment with yourself right now. I'm glad it resonates with you, Fatima. Yeah, this is a powerful concept. When people actually get the power of motivation, the power of feeling, their business results go to a whole nother level. Every single result across all dimensions of their life go to another level because they're accessing that internal power, that horsepower, and they've just activated it. They've got a performance chip for themselves, and they can learn the strategies to activate it on demand. So this is the exercise I want to get you to do. I want you to think of a goal that you want to create for your life. Now, it might be a business goal, could be a career goal, could be a relationship goal. Think of something that you want, yet you desire, and just bring that into your awareness. Now, notice the picture that you're bringing up in your mind. Bring to your awareness the picture. You're playing an internal picture in your mind when you're creating that thought, and that picture now is evoking a feeling. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to notice, what's that picture? Is it of you? Is it of someone else? Is it of you achieving something? And you can now start to play around with that picture and notice that the degree to which you play around with the picture, maybe it could be the possible scenario that you're creating. For example, if it's a business goal, you might visualize checking in and seeing your bank account. You've just ticked over the $1 million revenue for the year. Now, for some people, just looking at the money is not really motivating. They might check and log in their bank account, and for you, that might not resonate. But if you change that picture from a laptop bank account screen to maybe a holiday in Bali or traveling overseas at a 6-star resort, and you're lying by the pool with your partner, smiling, different feeling. So play around with it. Try on that different internal picture and notice how you feel. This is one of the unconscious hacks and tricks to motivation. And all of us are doing these unconscious motivating factors, but not all of us are aware of how we're doing it. So when you picture that goal right now, play around with the image. Change it up. Play around with it. Create the most compelling image you could possibly imagine that represents the bliss, the most amazing feeling that you're going to feel as a result of creating that goal. So play around with that picture. Once you've got that picture in your mind, you can now adjust it. You can change the color. You can make it brighter. Make it brighter. Notice how it feels. Make it brighter right now. Turn it down, almost like an Instagram filter. Notice if that's an Instagram filter. Notice if you're turning the color down, if you're making it black or white. If you're making it black or white, it feels different. Lower motivation. So you've got to figure out in your mind, when you create pictures in your mind, that is evoking a feeling inside of you. Same thing as if you're going to the gym. Some of you love going to the gym. Some of you don't like going to the gym. Be aware of when you think about something like going to the gym, what picture are you creating in your mind? What are you making? Are you creating a picture of a frown? Are you creating a picture of a cold, bleak day in the rain and having to trudge outside of the house? Or are you creating a picture of a nice, inspiring image smiles, happiness, joy, feeling healthy, feeling alive, feeling energized. Notice the picture that you're creating. So that's the start of your motivation strategy. And if you want to feel motivated, you want to pick an inspiring, motivating picture. If you don't want to feel inspired or motivated, then pick a picture that evokes a negative emotion inside of you. So good to know, right? This is a strategy that's playing out unconsciously. This is hacking your unconscious mind. So you want to turn all of your goals and all your desires and all your dreams into a movie that you can play inside your mind, such that you tap into that inspiration, that feeling that gets evoked as a result of you bringing up that picture inside your mind. Very, very powerful process. I recommend you also do this I recommend you all are doing meditation consistently. Meditation is one of these powerful unconscious processes that rewires your whole entire mindset, your whole entire experience. When you combine meditation with visualization, with breathing techniques, this is the ultimate combo of totally reprogramming your unconscious mind. So I recommend, for those of you that meditate, you want to add in an element of visualization with beautiful positive images. And once you've got those really positive images, when you overlay those through breath and through meditation, you can create a very, very powerful experience that you experience on a daily basis that generates that feeling of motivation. So powerful to know. The second major pillar that generates emotion is your core values. Now, your core values are unconscious filters. What are unconscious filters? Well, your values are as a result of they're clusters of beliefs. They're clusters of beliefs that either motivate us or demotivate us to do certain things. Our values are simply those things that we believe to be important. So they are belief systems. They are things that we've been conditioned, programmed in. It's our interpretations. It is our sense of what's important in life. So your values will determine what behavior you take, what choices you make. Your values determine what you believe is right and wrong. And when you do what is known as a values elicitation, what you're actually doing is you're actually purging your unconscious mind onto a bit of paper, and you're asking the question, what's important? What is truly important? And when you get clear on what's truly important in your life, you now have a powerful guiding list of priorities that you can now make conscious choices based on. Now, this is a major clue to know where your motivation lies. If you elicit, say, your values, and your values will be a hierarchy, there will be a list of priorities. This list will indicate to you what's most important to you. Now, for example, if on your list of values, health is not there, well, how inclined or how motivated do you think you're going to be healthy? Not very healthy. So when you do a values elicitation, which is what I do with the clients that I work with, when you do this elicitation, you will get the unconscious programming of your unconscious state of being. So you'll get the programming, you'll get the code behind the code, and you can start to see, say for example, health maybe not in your top 10 values. Well, understandably, you probably don't prioritize or don't have motivation around health. Same thing with wealth. If you don't have wealth creation as one of your top values, you might not be experiencing a lot of wealth creation. So this is the key to hacking our reality, is recognizing that it's the unconscious mind, it's the unconscious programs that are running 95% of our behavior. This is the estimate that neuroscientists have come up with. There's a consensus that it's around about the 90 to 95% of our choices are made from the unconscious mind. So 95% of our behavior, our choices, our results are predetermined by this unconscious filter, which is our values. So very, very important information to get to the bottom of it. It's like going in and finding out what's the software code written in a software program. You want to find out what's your code. Hey Rod, good to have you here, mate. So you want to look at what are your core values. If you don't know what your core values are, you're at a severe disadvantage. You are at a severe disadvantage if you don't know what your core values are. Because what's now happening is you've got an unconscious set of programming, unconscious programming that's running your decisions, running your behavior, that you're not aware of it. So this is where there's a conflict. Typically there's a major conflict for most people in their core values. So powerful awareness. I definitely recommend, if you haven't already explored your values, definitely take a closer look at your core values. And as I said, the way to do that is to ask yourself what's important, what's truly important. And that will elicit your unconscious priorities, your decision-making evaluation criteria for how you make choices. The third major pillar is you've got to overcome your limitations and your fears. Fear is the biggest thing that stops most people from taking action. Fear is the projection, it's the ego's representation of, it's our ego trying to protect us and trying to keep us safe. And so as long as our ego is operating, then we're going to be fearful, we're going to be judgmental, we're going to have resistance to undertaking something. So you've got to get to the bottom of where is fear playing out in your reality? Where is fear playing out in your reality? Now this might be fear in hiring new staff, this might be fear in investing money in your business, this might be fear in the context of something like anxiety, or maybe going out in public, or public speaking, or running workshops, or doing presentations, or doing Facebook Lives. What is the fear that's present inside of you? That is your ego doing its job, doing a well-intended job of wanting to keep you safe and wanting to protect you and wanting to keep you in your comfort zone. Where is that limiting you from expanding? So you've got to create massive awareness around, well, what are the fears that are holding you back? So you want to do a fears elicitation. Every limitation that we've got in life, ultimately, on some level, it comes back to fear. It always comes back to fear. Fear is one of those things that pretends to be necessary, but absolutely is not necessary. It really isn't necessary at all. It's the ego's need for validation, the ego's need to protect self that generates all the fears. So we've got to recognize that fear isn't actually useful. It's a prehistoric protection mechanism and device that isn't actually serving us. It does nothing to serve us. So we've got to strip away the layers of fear and start to recognize, okay, once we strip away the layers of fear, we now open ourselves up to experience a far more expansive reality, because we're now not limited. We're now not limited by a fear-based expression. So the key thing here is to start to develop an awareness of, well, what are the fears? And as I said, you want to do a fears elicitation. You want to work out, what are your fears? What are you most afraid of? What is holding you back? What are your limitations? And you want to define and create a list of all of your fears, all the things that are within your experience. And by starting to ask that question, you'll also uncover what else you're afraid of. Now this could be everything from, as I said, public speaking, afraid of expanding your business, afraid of being honest with someone, afraid. So there will be a lot of fears that are present in your consciousness that you've got to get to the bottom of. And once you get to the bottom of them and release them, you are empowered, because you can now make decisions based on inspiration, based on heart space, based on pure desire, rather than being limited by your fear. The fourth pillar that I'm going to touch on really quickly is, if you're wanting to activate the greatest level of motivation and inspiration, one of the fastest ways of doing that is to work with a coach. It's to work with a coach, a mentor, a trainer, a personal coach, or someone who's going to hold you to a higher standard, someone who's going to point out the gaps in all these areas that I'm talking about every single week, helping you tap into your purpose, helping you tap into your vision, helping you realize where you're procrastinating, helping you uncover and elicit your core values, helping to overcome your fears, someone who's going to hold you to account, and someone who's going to push you harder than you would push yourself. So if you're truly wanting to tap into the greatest level of motivation and inspiration, having a coach is one of the fastest ways that you're going to get there, because you're going to be able to uncover all the source code and uncover all the limitations that are preventing you from tapping into the inspiration and the motivation that you can access. However, it's been limited simply because we haven't been taught the skills and the knowledge and got the experience to be able to activate the motivation and inspiration on our own. So definitely working with a coach is one of the fastest ways I recommend if anyone's looking to activate their consciousness, evolve their consciousness, accelerate your results in terms of your business or your life, your relationship. Coach is one of the fastest ways to do that. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to realize that elite performers in the Olympic Games, there's a reason why they have a coach, right? The best people in the world, whether it be tennis, soccer, sport, and anything you can think of. US presidents, every single people, all the top performers in the world, they have mentors, they have guides, they have people giving them guidance and advice and helping them break through the limitations. Why? because when you've got someone that can see your blind spots, when someone's at a higher level of consciousness or at a greater level of result or proficiency, someone can help you get to where they got to far quicker. So that's one of the great aspects about having mentoring, coaching, and training in your life and in your experience. So that's a little bit about coaching and why it's so powerful, why people invest in it. And it's one of the things I attribute to the success that I've managed to create, has been the amazing coaches and mentors that I've personally had through the journey. So I'm standing on the shoulders of giants here. I wouldn't be where I am today unless I invested a lot of money in being personally mentored and coached by people, because I've accelerated the journey. Instead of it taking, I don't know, 6-10 years, I've got to where I've got in a lot quicker time. So powerful concepts, powerful realizations. And had I have known what I now know, I would have invested in a coach straight out of university, because I know that I would have accelerated my results a lot quicker. So powerful information, powerful awarenesses for us all to know. So this pretty much wraps up tonight's episode, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to announce a little bit about the inner circle that I'm launching. Now, my inner circle, and I trust you guys are still with me. I know the connection's been dropping in and out. But for those of you that has been chopping in and out, you can watch the replay. It will be uploaded on iTunes as well as YouTube. So for those of you that are interested in taking your personal development a level deeper, for those that are wanting to accelerate their consciousness, for those of the people that are really wanting a more advanced level of work on themselves, obviously we can only cover so much in the time that we've got. But for those that are interested, I'm creating an inner circle. My inner circle is going to be a powerful community of dreamers and doers, of entrepreneurs, of business owners, of people that are striving to become the ultimate version of themselves and that are wanting the most advanced personal development they can possibly get. So I've been training in fields such as NLP, hypnosis, productivity, emotional mastery, time management, a lot of different fields. And I've been coaching and mentoring and training a lot of people over the years, and I know what works. I've been able to sample what doesn't work. And what I'd like to do is I'm excited and I love this, because I've distilled down what I believe are the most empowering, most powerful concepts in the world of personal development. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be presenting these concepts in a very practical and very pragmatic and empowering way, such that we can take principles of consciousness, we can take these teachings and we can embody them. Because one of the biggest problems that we have in personal development is we turn up to a class like this, or we watch a video, or we go to a workshop, and it's great because we get some information. But where it falls down typically is that there's no embodiment. There's no accountability. There's no practical application of how do you consistently, day in, day out, apply that so that it becomes a habit, so that it becomes unconsciously programmed into us, so that it now becomes our new way of being. So the inner circle that I'm creating is all about how do we take personal development and how do we infuse it so it becomes our way of living? How do we infuse it so it becomes an unconscious part of ourselves, so that all of a sudden it's not something that we just do occasionally. It now becomes a daily ritual. It becomes a practice. We infuse throughout our whole entire day, our way of being, these concepts. So we don't forget them, we embody them, we integrate them, and we now become masterful of all these concepts because we're using them constantly. If you don't use it, you lose it. So this is why I'm excited to bring this inner circle to all of you, because I get to give far more advanced concepts that I'm talking about here to you in a very private, exclusive environment where we can all master these. You can ask questions and we can take every single one of these concepts that I've been teaching a level deeper, so you can apply it, you can infuse it into your way of being, so it becomes an unconscious, habitual way of being. So you don't have to think about it. It becomes a natural way of being. So yeah, this is an exciting program. I'll put a message up in this thread afterwards for those of you that are interested. Send me a personal message. At this stage, I'm just going to create a waiting list for the next 2 weeks. And so for those that are interested, please just send me a message. And this is going to be custom built. This is the very first evolution of this experience, this inner circle. I'm calling it Project Limitless. So for those of you that resonate with wanting to take your business, your life to a whole nother level of mastery, your productivity, your emotional intelligence, your ability to lead, and your ability to tap into your vision and your purpose, these are the major pillars that I'm going to be focusing on in this inner circle. So I'm going to share a little bit more about it in the week ahead. I just thought I'd drop in a couple of little suggestions and ideas about what it's going to be like. So this is a brand new release. You guys are the first to hear about it. So I look forward to sharing more about this in the coming week. And if it resonates, please send me a message. I'd love to have you part of the group. We're gonna have a limited number of people, and obviously we're gonna go pretty deep. So if you are incredibly into personal development and you want to take your personal growth to advanced levels, this is going to be an absolute game changer in terms of your evolution of your consciousness. And it's going to be a vertical leap in the evolution of your consciousness as well. So it's not for the faint of heart. It is for the people that are seriously committed to wanting to transform their whole entire experience and their way of being. So that's a little bit about the Project Limitless Inner Circle that I'm launching very, very soon. That's all for tonight on Transformation Tuesday, guys. I trust that helps. I trust that motivation, inspiration, those 4 pillars, it makes it a little bit more comprehensible. It makes it more clear. It makes it more digestible to recognize that motivation is not something that randomly happens to you. You generate it, you create it, and there's a strategy underlying all of that. So thank you guys for tuning in. G'day Denise, good to see you here. As always, lots of love to you guys. Wishing you a beautiful week ahead, and I shall look forward to seeing you again next week. I'm off to Bali this week, so I'm off to Bali for the Spirit Festival. Looking forward to lots of learnings, lots of new insights, hanging out with some amazing people. And I shall see you again very, very soon for the next Transformation Tuesday next week, which is all about how to stop judging people. So if you want to learn how to stop judging people, if you want to learn how to feel more compassion for everyone in your experience, including yourself, then this is going to be a really powerful episode. Until then, lots of love, and look forward to seeing you guys again very soon. Bye for now.